In this problem, we'll look at a rectangle. The length of a rectangle is 2 meters more than the width. The area of the rectangle is 48 square meters. Find the length and the width. We'll use the 5-step problem-solving process to solve this. And we'll start by step 1, familiarizing ourselves with the situation. A very good way to familiarize yourself with this is to make a sketch. We have a rectangle, and wherever you have a rectangle, you can draw a rectangle. We're told that the length of the rectangle is 2 meters more than the width. So let's use a variable to represent the width. That would be W would be good. And we can say let W equal the width. Then the length is 2 meters more than the width, so my length has to be W plus 2. I kind of write that W plus 2 as the length. Now, I know we're going to talk about area, and if I can't remember the formula for area, I might have to look that up. Area is length times width. I think I have enough to be able to go ahead to my next step, which is to translate. I want to translate the problem to a mathematical language. I know that the area is length times the width. So my area is length times width. And I'm given that the area is 48. So I say the area 48 is the length, which was W plus 2, times the width, which is W. I have an equation, and I move to my next step, which is to solve the equation. I'm solving the equation of 48 equals the quantity W plus 2 times W. To solve this, I'm going to use the principle of zero products. So I have to begin by getting a 0 on one side of the equation. This means I'm also going to have to multiply this out in order to later on factor what I have on one side of the equation. I will start by multiplying that. I have 48 equals, multiplying, I have W squared plus 2W. And then I subtract 48 from both sides, and I have 0 equals W squared plus 2W minus 48, and I factor. 0 equals W, it's going to factor into 2 binomials. The first term of each binomial will be W. The second terms multiply to negative 48 and add to 2. I want 8 and negative 6. So I write plus 8 minus 6. And I've factored this trinomial. I now have a product that's equal to 0, so I can set each factor equal to 0. I write W plus 8 equals 0, or W minus 6 equals 0. And be careful about doing this in your head, especially when you're under pressure, because sometimes you get the signs mixed up, even something as simple as this. Go ahead and take the time to write them out and solve for W, subtracting 8 from both sides of W equals negative 8, or over here adding 6 to both sides, W equals 6. Now these are the things we're going to check. So step 4 is to check. Now before we go and check negative 8, let's think what we were talking about. We're talking about length and width of a rectangle. Lengths and widths are not negative, so we don't even need to check negative 8 in the original problem. Let's look at W equals 6. If we have a width of 6 meters, the length was 2 meters more than that, we'd have a length of 8 meters, and that would give us an area of 48 square meters, which is what we were looking for. So we can state our answer then clearly in a complete sentence. The length is 8 meters and the width is 6 meters.